On January 18, 2022, the property owner of Lazy J Ranch and RV Park gets a call from a local business asking if he would do a welfare check on one of the business's employees who hadn't shown up to work in the past 2 days. The property owner agrees and walks to the RV of 32-year-old Brandon Raspberry, who had just moved in 4 days prior. After knocking a bunch of times and getting no response, he walks in to find Brandon dead from a gunshot wound. The property owner calls the Gonzales County Sheriff's Department and an investigation is launched. The medical examiner concluded that Brandon had been shot one time in the head 2 days prior to being found. Because of the trajectory of the bullet and the fact there was no weapon found at the scene, Brandon's death was ruled a homicide. The Gonzales County Sheriff's Department collected multiple pieces of evidence, but none of it led to the killer, and eventually the case went cold. That is until April 12, 2024, just a week ago from when I filmed this, when the Sheriff's Department was called by the principal of one of the local schools. The principal says that the night before, two 10-year-old boys got into a fight on the school bus. One of the kids told the other that he was going to kill him, which prompted a call to the sheriff's department because they would have to write a report. When the deputy arrives, one of the school officials tells him that the boy who he was there to write the report on had told them that he had killed a man a few years prior. So the deputy sits down with this kid and the kid confirms, yeah, a few years ago I shot a guy in Nixon County, which is where Brandon lived. He then goes on to tell the deputy all types of information that only somebody who was at the murder could ever possibly know. So the kid proceeds to tell the deputy that when he was just 7 years old, he was visiting his grandpa who lived on the property of Lazy J Ranch. He grabs the 9mm pistol that was in the glove box of his grandpa's truck and walks over to the RV of Brandon Raspberry's house, who just happened to be a neighbor of his grandfather's. He sneaks into Brandon's RV and finds him asleep in his bed. For absolutely no reason whatsoever, he fires off a shot into Brandon's head, killing him. Then he turns around to leave and fires one more shot off into Brandon's couch. He then takes the gun and puts it back in the glove box of his grandfather's truck. So the deputy asked this kid, what did Brandon do something to you? Why would you do that? Was he mean to you? Did he say something to you? Did he look at you wrong? Anything, giving this kid some type of excuse on why he did that. And the kid said no. Brandon did nothing to him. He said, in fact, he had never even seen Brandon until earlier that day. Totally random. Deputies track down the pistol to a pawn shop and compare it against two shell casings that they found at the scene of the crime, and of course they match. So in other words, the kid was telling the truth, and that was the weapon that ended Brandon's life. So deputies have no clue what the hell to do with this information, right? The state of Texas says you cannot criminally charge anybody under the age of 10. This kid was only 7. He was a week shy of his 8th birthday, so they cannot do anything to him criminally. So they did the only thing they knew they could do, which is put the kid on a 72-hour emergency detention hold. Once that was up, they moved him for evaluation to a psychiatric hospital in San Antonio, Texas. Once he was released from that, they did the literal only thing they could, which is charge him for threatening to kill the other student. Bottom line is a 7-year-old child murdered someone for the fun of it, and they cannot criminally do anything to this kid. How scary is that?